So here's the challenge. Take 64 college basketball teams and whittle them down to one champion. If you're like millions of Americans, including the president, you're filling out an NCAA bracket sheet this week. And with just a few hours to go before the first games tip off, we brought in expert help. Right now, we're joined by Mark Beech from Sports Illustrated. Good morning.
Morning, Michelle.
So let's talk top picks, because you are the expert. Who have you picked?
Kansas, Syracuse, West Virginia, and Duke. I think really are the four teams that, should be, those are four teams that everybody should be picking from when you're making your Final Four. If you aren't considering those guys, you're in trouble.
Why? What differentiates these teams? I mean, I know there's been a lot of buzz about them, but tell us, what's the true essence of each of these teams that's going to make them win?
Well, Kansas especially is, they were very good last year and very young, and this year they're more experienced. And Sharon Collins, their point guard, who is a tremendous ball handler, is a guy who can really break down a defense. And they just feed off each other, and they feed off his pace and tempo. Mm-hmm. Duke, typical Mike Krzyzewski team, all around good defense, offense, maybe not quite as strong up front as a team like West Virginia with Deshaun Butler, but strong enough. And Syracuse, of course, along with Kansas, one of the 2 or 3 best teams all year.
So we have been filling out our brackets here. If someone at home wants to work on theirs, because it's kind of in the final hour, and of course we should say this is all for fun. No, we're not talking about office pools or anything like that.
No money at all.
What kind of things should they look for? Because it's a lot of teams to choose from.
Right. Well, you want to look at your favorites. What's called your chalk. And the teams we just went through, those are teams that everybody should consider, and you can't throw those out automatically. There are some, like, say, Arkansas Pine Bluff, who won today, who you can be pretty sure that Duke's going to handle them pretty easily in the first round. However, there are other teams lurking out there that have the ability to go deeper than maybe people would think. Kansas especially has a very tough draw. Their bracket includes Michigan State and Georgetown, who's been very good but somewhat inconsistent, and Ohio State with Evan Turner, who's one of the best players in the country and can beat anybody. When the night is right. And so, there's sleeper teams. Kansas State in the draw, I think, that has Syracuse. Mm-hmm. That's a very tough team, and they have very good guard play. And in a tournament game, I mean, you get one game of good guard play, which, a lot of three-point shooting. Yeah. You can beat anybody. It's hard for a three-point shooting team to make it through the whole tournament and win. But they can knock somebody off on any night if they're shooting well. And
those make for such exciting games.
They do.
Okay, so we want you to take a look at our choices here at Up to the Minute. And I can't take personal credit for these, but what do you think? We've got in the Midwest, Kansas, then we have Kentucky, Villanova, and Syracuse. Well,
I think Villanova is the biggest surprise. I think a lot of people think Duke has the strongest chance to make it through their draw because, right down to Arkansas Pine Bluff, it's a relatively unchallenging draw for them. I think Kansas is a tough, that's a tougher sell, but they should come out of that okay. Syracuse, again, they've got some injury problems, and I think, especially with Kansas State out there, there's trouble for them, but they should be in the Final Four. They're in mine. And Villanova is, I think, that's probably the longest shot you guys took. Kentucky, very good, but very young, and I kind of think they're going to lose to West Virginia, who's very strong and stout. And Kansas seems to be a theme among a lot of us, right? Well, right. Our picks, your picks, and the president's as well. Well, we're all in good company, and there's no reason to pick against those guys. It's very, like I said, very talented, probably the most talented top-to-bottom team in the country, and more experienced than Kentucky. And so, were Kentucky, I think they would wind up playing Kansas in the Final Four if Kentucky gets by West Virginia. Probably not going to get by Kansas. Well, hopefully we can all be winners together. All right, Mark Beech from Sports Illustrated. Mark, thanks so much. Thanks, Michelle.